We also want to take a second to hear a little bit from the funder perspective, which that was raised earlier. So we actually have a couple of folks here, Susan Hoff from United Way, and Adriana from the Meadows Foundation. And I'll turn it over to them to just explain from their perspective why they joined the partnership and I guess, why they see this as being potentially transformative for the community.
Thank you, Jonathan, and good morning to everyone. And thanks for giving us an opportunity to talk about that. From United Way's perspective, and I hope this is true for many of our colleagues out there, this is such an opportunity. It feels different in Dallas right now, and I've been doing this work for a really long time, as many of you have, and this feels different. There's some key things that are important to me about the commit movement and the resource that we have in this opportunity. One, it capitalizes on the belief that I think every single person in this room has, that every child is capable of learning and deserves the opportunity to succeed. I don't think you'd be here if that was not a core piece of your being. Secondarily, it builds upon the strengths of our organizations, of our community, of our business partners, of everyone. It isn't saying that anybody is not doing the right thing. It's saying that working together and using data that we have available can help us get better collectively. Thirdly, it couples a sense of urgency with a sense of purpose. There is that, I think, feeling oftentimes in the world of social work and sometimes education that we want to move now, we want to move fast. It's that ready, fire, aim predilection that many of us have. This couples that sense of urgency and wanting to make a difference with using clear data, which can help us work smarter, but not necessarily harder. And quite honestly, what really is my biggest driver for wanting to be involved is I want things to be different. I want this to be a fabulous place for every child who's born in Dallas to grow up in Dallas. And I want all of us to be able to say, I want my kids to grow up here. I want my grandchildren to grow up here. Aren't we lucky to be born in Dallas? And I think this is the beginning of being able to say that now and generations into the future. So, thank you.
Hi, good morning. Adriana with the Meadows Foundation, and I'm very relieved Susan didn't give the same reasons that I was going to give about why the Meadows Foundation was involved. But I have to say that I came at this as a skeptic. Like Susan, had been around for a few years here and have seen several other efforts come and go. And so we've been some of those same faces around the same table, and so it makes you wonder, how's this going to be any different? And so I know we started our conversations about a year ago with Todd asking those same questions. How is this going to be any different? And I will tell you that I'm starting to already see, it's very exciting, I'm starting to already see how it is different, and I'm very hopeful because of that, and I'll give you a couple reasons why. The data. We have tons of data. We've all seen data. Other community groups and collaboratives have gathered data. What's different is this is different data. It really is. I could give you examples, but you'll start to see them as this starts to go on, and if you decide to participate, you'll start to see how the data really is not the same old things that we've looked at over and over again ad nauseum. And it's not data that you have been asked to generate. It's data that they are going out and getting. So it's not like you're participating means that you now have something new to do. You have to go grind all your data and provide it. They're going to help you with that. So that's very helpful. So the data is different, and we are going to look at it differently. And so I'm already starting to see, and I'm very excited about the fact that we're starting to look at the data differently. The other thing I would say that's critically different, and is one of the things that the Meadows Foundation is most excited about, is I think, we get approached every day by people that want to do things to public schools, want to do things for our students, want to do things on behalf of nonprofits. We get meetings with folks all the time with really good intentions, but when you listen to semantics, words are powerful, and so people can say they want to do things for our community, but when you really listen, it's they want to do things to you. And so it really, at the end of the day, is not the most helpful approach. And so I think one of the distinct differences that we heard from the beginning in the language, but we actually are seeing it. And you're here today because of that. This is a partnership. Commit wants to do things with you. You're being invited to be a part of it. You're being invited to look at the data together. And if it's not the right data and you feel it's not working, you have a voice. You have a part and a role to play. So that, in our book, is a tremendous difference. No one's doing anything to our kids or to our schools. You're being asked to play a role and be a partnership. So that partnership role is tremendously different. And the last thing I would say is that public education, or education as a whole, tends to be everybody's favorite punching bag these days. It's quite frankly very demoralizing. Moved to Dallas 16 years ago and had never quite seen it in another community like it is here. And that's a whole separate conversation as to why. We can talk about it for days. But I think that Commit, the opportunity that Commit presents us is to look at the data, to have a separate party look at the data, to have a separate party form that public-private collaborative, and to get more people engaged and excited about this, to bring more people to the table. I think the opportunities are there and they're tremendous, and that ultimately impacts all of us. It doesn't just mean somebody getting engaged by writing a check to a school. It means somebody maybe deciding, yes, I believe in public schools again, so I'm going to enroll my child there. It means I believe in schools again, so I'm going to volunteer at your nonprofits. It means I believe in public schools, so I'm going to write a check. So it can mean a lot, and it can be transformative. And so there's a lot of reasons why Meadows Foundation and I personally believe this approach is new. We're in a new day, and I'm very hopeful. And so I hope you would consider also joining the partnership.
Thanks, Adriana.